What is up, Honey Badger Nation? This is John Kitchens, and welcome to episode 161 of Expert Mentors Live. I'm super excited to be hanging out with you guys today, and man, we're going to jump into a little productivity warrior. Some things that you've heard us share and talk about, and just want to reiterate and being able to provide that to all of you. And I'm pretty sure we'll have a little time. I'm gonna take you through a little bonus as well. So you guys will want to stay tuned as we work through this presentation, this process. If at any time you guys have any questions, comments, throw it into the chat box. We'll take time. We'll answer if there's any questions, or if you're watching this at a later time, drop the comments in. We still see them, and we get to come back around and help you guys get unstuck. Right. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys and take you through a presentation that we've been able to share. And I'm going to have to do this, and then I'm going to this. So I don't want to share it. I want to present it. There we go. So I can't see any comments or questions. So as I dive through this, I will come back at the end. And if you guys have anything that you want to get stuck, but I really want to take you guys into really some actionable items that can help you all become more productive. I done a couple expert mentors where we talk about what has to happen first, right? You have to focus on you to become better as a leader and as a human being before productivity can really come in. Because I can give you all of this framework. We can get a real crystal clear destination of where you're trying to go. But if you're not operating from an inner stance of some empowerment, then you're from a disempowering. And so we want to be empowered, with empowered, thoughts, empowered feelings, and empowered action. And that's what allows us to be truly productive and get the results that we're after. And, busy is not being productive. If you're getting the results you want, then you're being productive. If you're not getting the results, you're not being productive. It's that simple. So one concept is inevitability thinking. And so inevitability thinking is really just about creating the conditions that so success becomes inevitable. Like, your business has to go to the next level. Hire a coach, right? You want to improve your fitness, get the gym membership, right? You're struggling with the gym membership, then get a trainer, right? You're struggling with your nutrition, get a nutritionist, right? So how are you creating the conditions? I always like to also talk about, like, if you're struggling going to the gym, have an accountability partner, right? We tend to show up more for another human being than we show up for ourselves. Well, if that's not working, have that accountability partner come pick you up, right? So how are you creating the conditions so that your success becomes inevitable? I'm going to throw a little pro tips throughout, just to make sure you guys are paying attention, and really want to hit home on that key point. But Coach John Wooden, right? Arguably the most greatest successful coach of all time. What is the number one factor to your success? And it was habits. It's habits. And that's what Coach Wooden, really emphasized. That's what he coached on. Day one of practice, what do? How do you put your socks on the right way? How do you lace up your shoes? I can't afford for you to get blisters. Take care of your feet, right? Those are the habits. Do you have success habits or not? How are those habits in your behavior getting you the results you want? So when you look at understanding of where to allocate your time, it is all about the HLAs, the high leveraged activities. Okay. For most of you in this business, it really revolves around 4 or 5 things that matter. Okay. We'll talk about that in just a second. And actually, let's go there right now. So high lifetime value activities is the top of our productivity pyramid. And high lifetime value activities are the activities that make us better, right? I just love using Hal Elrod's savers, right? It's the silence, it's the affirmation, it's the visualization, it's the exercising, it's the reading, it's the scribing, it's investing in relationships, it's taking care of your nutrition. It is, making sure you're getting family time. It's making sure you've got date night. Those are all high lifetime value activities. The next on our pyramid, this is where the HLAs come in, the high leveraged activities. These are the high dollar value activities. In this business, guys, please don't overcomplicate it. Real estate is real freaking simple, okay? It is lead gen, lead conversion, pitching your offer, right? Delivering your value proposition, either to buyers, sellers, real estate agents. If you're, doing deals, negotiating deals, and then if you're working with buyers, you're showing properties. That's it. There's only 4 or 5 activities that move the needle in this business. So those fall in that category. Then the low dollar value activities are everything that you have to operate and run your business that don't include those 4 or 5 activities. And then low lifetime value activities. Low lifetime value activities are the exact opposite of high lifetime, right? Eating like shit, not exercising, watching the news is a low lifetime value activity. Not putting the right nutrients into your mind and into your body. And so it's just really the exact opposite. The one thing that I want you to look at over here is the talents and strengths. See, I believe we all have this unique ability that, is kind of ingrained into who we are. And so what we're able to do that is uniquely the best, that we do better than anybody else, and people notice it. How you go about attaining that information is asking people. Ask people that will tell you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear. Send an email to 10 people today. 4 will respond, 2 will have truth. And that'll be enough to shed a light on, dude, you're the best in the world at this. And then what are you really, really good at? Okay. Sometimes you have to start at what you suck at, right? To help shine light on what you're really good at. But what we're looking for is the 1 to 2 things, because when you marry unique ability, talents, and your strengths, it's only going to be 1 or 2 things. So imagine this. Imagine living your life doing only those 1 or 2 things in your high lifetime and high dollar value activities. How do you think your life would look, right? How do you think your bank account would look? So that's the power of the productivity pyramid, and understanding the buckets and then where you're trying to work towards to be able to allocate a massive amount of your time. So this is our 9 box. Message us. We'll get you a copy of this. I know you guys have seen this. This is how we've really identified, in the business, the highest skill to the lowest skill to the highest value to the lowest value activities. That's why an agent, when you come in, if you're not spending time and you're wearing all of these hats, you don't know how to juggle these activities, and you end up, really diluting yourself. And, if your aspiration is to make, it's mathematically impossible to make $1 million a year if you're doing $10 an hour work, right? It's just math. And so understanding where to allocate your time when you're still in the trenches of buying and working with buyers and sellers, there's nothing more valuable than working on listings. Here it is. We studied this down to almost the minute of what time allocation you have when you're working with a seller versus when you're working with a buyer. At the time that we did this study, we did it in an even balanced market, and we put the stopwatch to it. It was a little over 2 hours working with a listing versus 22 hours working with the buyer. So think about it. Are you spending the time that's giving you the greatest return? It's ROT, return on time. Are you getting the return on the time that you allocate? Are you valuing yourself enough to know what you're really worth? Okay. This is why we talk as we grow, what we start to shed, right? What roles, what tasks? This is why I always encourage, I'm pro, if you're brand new into the business, get on a team. Get on a high performing team that aligns to your values, that you believe in what they're trying to do. Because when you're on a team, guess what? They're going to have a courier, probably going to have a receptionist, probably going to have an office manager. They're probably going to have a listing coordinator. They might have some inside sales associates. They've got somebody that can help with marketing. They're going to have a closing coordinator. So guess what you get to do? You get to spend all of your time being a buyer's agent and listing agent. That's you guys have to understand this, that like let go of the low dollar value work and focus on the things that really move the needle. And it's about planning for success, man. It's about staying consistent in your activities and wherever you're at, right? The most important factor is your allotment of time must reflect that. I get it. You know, you're graduating up, you've got team members, you know, you've got office staff, you've got a marketing team. Yeah, you're not showing properties anymore. You're not negotiating deals. And, you know, you're maybe not working on lead conversion at all time. Maybe you're just face to face. But the other factor that you have to focus on at that point is, you know, leadership and listings. That's, you know, if you're in production, you have a team, those are your two most important factors. And your allocation of time has to reflect that wherever you're at. And guys, it's up to you. You have a choice. You can either run the day or you can let the day run you. And I want to walk you guys through this process. So if you're listening, I mean, take notes. I see agents trip this. They fumble this every which way that you can think of, but it's about the ideal week. We have a process that we love to take people through. It's called Sunday Planning 168. Actually, if you go to sundayplanning168.com, you can download the Sunday planning process that I try to push everybody to go through. And 168 is the number of hours that we have in any given week. You know, I've got it. You've got it. Elon Musk has got it. That's 168. And it's about the ideal week. And the reason that we do it every Sunday is because every week is different, period. And are you willing? Do you have the courage to create the life you desire? And so it's about 168. So we have to, here's what I believe. I believe it's right things, right order. I believe that, you know, if you have the right combination to anything can be unlocked. Your week can be unlocked if you understand the right combination, right things, right order. Number one is we need time for our high lifetime value activities. Time for the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and relationships that are essential to our success. These go in the calendar first. And remember, work expands to the time allotted for it. Work contracts based on the boundaries we define. Choose a firm in time for our work day and work week. In this call post, I put that Elon Musk quote. I'm in love with that quote of, if you give yourself 30 days to clean your house, it'll take 30 days. If you give yourself 3 hours to clean your house, you'll clean your house in 3 hours. Right? So it's amazing that what we could do given the time that we allow for it. Hey, you know, I've got a 60-minute meeting, but could you do it in 14 minutes? Could you do it in 27 minutes? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. You can work through the constraints of the allotted time, shrink the time, and we can get more done. You guys have more control than you think. You know, we can choose to maximize the time that we do control, right? And so just be really aware of that, right? If you say you don't control your time, that's an excuse. That's not true. That's not true. It's progress, not perfection. Always, every equity of our life, our relationships, we're going to fail, right? You know, relationships with significant others, we're going to fail. Relationships with kiddos, we're going to fail. Our business, we're going to fail, right? But it's about learning from that and making progress and keep moving forward. High lifetime value activities, they go in first. These are non-negotiables. Work, start, and stop time. When do you start? When do you stop? Set the time. When is family? When is your fitness, sleep, date night, thinking time. I like savers, right? I shared that with you guys already. Second, we fill our calendar with HLAs and our MVPs. People in profit in our business and personal lives. The big rocks first. Where am I moving the needle on profit? Write that question down. That's what you've got to be thinking about for your business. Where am I in my given seat, given the season of where my business is at? Am I moving the needle on profit? And then third, with everything else, right? That includes our meeting rhythm. I always like to say that goes in third. Really nailing that last, right? Non-negotiables, high lifetime value, high leveraged, everything else goes in there. And what you're going to find is there's not much room for everything else. Some red flags to look out for are things spilling over into our high lifetime value activities. Are we starting and stopping getting pushed out, right? Are non-negotiables not happening? Are your HLAs and MVPs not happening? Those are red flags. We've got to really, really be paying attention to for that. And, when you look at what's in your calendar on a scale of 1 to 10 on the activities, if it's not a 9 or a 10, guys, delete it, delegate it, or try to get out of it, right? Sometimes we overcommit and we realize and then this internal integrity battle comes in. But what you have to understand, get really good at saying no. I love how Tim Grover puts it. No is a complete sentence. So don't be afraid to utilize it. And in fact, no is your number one productivity tool. Number 2 is your calendar. And always ask, can somebody else do this? And be straightforward and honest when we need to cancel something. So your HLAs, where am I the most proficient and most passionate? Most proficient and the most passionate. Passion is energy. What could you do every day, all day that doesn't drain you of energy when you go home at the end of the day, right? We all do things, right? So it's like, man, numbers just they're tough, dude. They just exhaust me. That's not what you're passionate about. You need a who. You need a who in that seat to help. And your most valuable priorities are, we all have rocks. We all have priorities. We all have goals, whatever it is, right? That we're trying to accomplish. And we look at that in 90-day time chunks, 30-day time chunks. And what is the action that I've got to take this week that's moving us closer to done for that priority? Personal priorities are clear in the calendar. Big 3 MVPs are in the calendar, and let our priorities lead the schedule, right? That's what we have to remember. Pro tip: agreements versus expectations. We've shared this concept, and it's crazy that we, as human beings, we need to be reminded more than we need to be told. I have a great client, great friend, he's on board with us at EXP, and he's a brilliant dude. He's one of the smartest dudes I know. And I think he had to hear me say agreements versus expectations 9 or 10 times before he got it, right? The thing is that if you don't have a clear agreement of success, then it's an expectation. And any time that we leave anything up to expectation, you're going to be let down 100% of the time, because we're dealing with another human being. It is about clear agreements of success with anybody and everybody that we come in contact with, right? How are you measuring success? What is the agreement of success? If you don't have it, then you have an expectation. And guess what? You're going to be let down. It may be today, it may be tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next year, but you're going to be let down. It's coming. It's inevitable. So really focus on agreements. Sunday planning, SundayPlanning168.com. Go there. 25 minute video. I walk you through the process. It's a game changer. It's something that we committed to several years ago. And the level of productivity is off the charts. So really being able to get clear on how you're going to attack the week in all equities. And so we focus on the non-negotiables, the MVPs, date night, work night, family dinner, HLAs, high leveraged activities. And then, we like to use a little tool, and this is on a daily basis. And I've incorporated this in a little different than the one in the 168 document that you guys can download. But looking at it every day and making sure that, you look at your calendar and are all of the activities in the calendar for the day that need to happen. The biggest thing that I want to point out here are the gotta minutes. This is how we fight off the force of distraction. The FOD is a MFer, and distraction's real, but distraction really becomes an issue when we give power to it. Distraction is only a distraction if you allow it. And what happens is that people aren't clear on the gotta minutes, meaning things that really aren't worth allocating to the calendar. But hey, I need to real quick schedule. Hey, I need to lock in. Are we going to commit to these dates for travel? Hey, I need to send another email out regarding, collection for an event. I need to, what do I need to do to renew my license? Just little things like that you're not going to allocate time for. And it's the gotta minute. So what happens is that when a client is running late or a client cancels on you, what do? Most of you go right to your phone and you go right to social media. And so, if you've got 30 minutes, you wake up 30 minutes later and you've been down the social media rabbit hole. But if you have your gotta minutes and you're clear on those, when that time becomes available, then you go right to your gotta minutes and you utilize that time for that. So it's really important from a gotta minute perspective. And then this is really, really important. Within the calendar, shoot for no white space. White space is where force of distraction will get you. So if you want just thinking time, if you want social media time, if you want to veg out Netflix time, if you want to do whatever put it in the calendar, right? Because then that allows you to be intentional with what it is you're doing. So no white space. And this is also important too. If you're giving access to somebody in your calendar, you got to create some, I would, with all of you rebels listening in, I would take out the word rule and I would put guidelines, right? Because rules are meant to be broken. So 24-hour guideline. So the 24-hour guideline for me, because people have access to my calendar, is that you can put nothing in my calendar if it's less than 24 hours without my written or eye-to-eye okay. And ideally, you probably want to get it in writing because I may forget. So nothing in my calendar goes in less than 24 hours unless I say so. So have some guidelines with your calendar if somebody has access to it and is helping you out with it, and flex space. So there's a lot of agents that, hey, John, I got it. I understand the power of the calendar, but man, I can't stay on task, and it's hard to stay. It's hard to stay, committed to the calendar because I've got this popping up. I got this popping up. I'm like, I get it. So where I developed this concept was when I was running our Lawton office and, running day-to-day operations, head of company, and also started coaching. And I was like, man, I can get thrown off because somebody might come through my door. I might need to talk to a client. I might need to handle something with the team member. And so what I did in the beginning is that I allowed 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the afternoon for flex space. That's not standing in the calendar flexing. I've got flexible time in my calendar. So if I get thrown off, I know that I've got some of that buffer time, that flex time to get me back on track. So if you're struggling with staying on task on the calendar, I would recommend getting some buffer space, some flex space in there to give you the flexibility. Now, if you're on task and you hit that flex time, go to your gotta minutes. If not, force of distraction is going to get you. So stay with the gotta minutes and back over there. And I had a great conversation with a client this week, and he was talking about, man, I struggle with looking at the calendar on my phone. And I'm like, man, I get it. I do too. Like, I have my Google Calendar. I'm looking at it, but I know, guys, go paperless, kill trees. Dude, I print my calendar every day. I print it and I work from it and I write my gotta minutes. I mean, this is a copy of my calendar from yesterday. I write everything down, little nuggets, little things that happen. And, what I know I need to accomplish today with gotta minutes. And so, work whatever process, right? It's progress, not perfection. So being able to work through that and understand. So developing and having some of these concepts. And this is a great question, right? Did I move closer to my outcomes today? Right? When I look at my calendar, did I achieve my objectives? Did I move closer to what it is I'm trying to accomplish or not? And take autopsy on the day. Like my day was just like completely blown up. Okay. How can I prevent that from happening in the future? How can I take precaution to where it doesn't happen in the future? See, 100% responsibility, zero excuses. Everything that happens to your day is your responsibility. If it doesn't go your way, it's your fault. It's nobody else's, right? There's always something that you could do different. It's extreme ownership. So, did you move closer to your outcomes? If not, what do I have to correct moving forward, taking autopsy on it? And I'm gonna come back. Actually, let me pause for a second and see if you awesome people have any questions, and then I'll tee it up. Sunday planning. Boom. Thank you. Whoever shared that link, Renee. Yes. And you've got to do it as a family, right? And this was a gift from Renee, was that you lay out the perfect week, but you also need to have the conversation with the kiddos. And this was really brought to light last year during the pandemic when we were doing some homeschooling. Is now you've got to structure and factor those in, and you got to make sure your kids' week is dialed in. They know what they need to do, and how are you helping and supporting them to be able to do that. So yeah, Renee, thank you for that. And thank you for sharing the link. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to keep rolling with the presentation. If you guys have any more questions, anything like that, please throw it into the chat. But are y'all good? Or you want some more? Well, I can't see it, and I know all of you are shaking your head, so I'm going to give you some more. So here's a pro tip. This is a perfect day. This is the one of the two exercises that we take everybody through to help them get clear on the big picture. See, here's the thing. In business, there is one goal, right? We used to say the goal was profit. The real goal, guys, is freedom. That's the real goal. And freedom to do whatever you want, wherever you want, with whomever you want, as much as you want. And you're not trading time for dollars. You've got investments, you've got opportunities that are bringing you enough money in that you're not that you have to trade your time for dollars. Financial freedom. The other freedom is moving closer to your perfect day. Okay. This is a powerful, powerful exercise. When you get clear on your number and the day that you want to live, now you have your freedom. That's why everybody's definition of freedom is different. It's different. Mine's different than yours, than, Renee listening in, anybody else watching this. Everybody's definition of freedom is different, but it's around those two concepts of your financial freedom number, that you're not trading time for dollars, and your perfect day. And so really, today can be the beginning of the perfect day, right? When's the best time to plant a tree? 30 years ago and today. Today, begin moving in your perfect day, and realize, guys, what you focus on determines your reality. If you guys joined us at Build Conference 21 with Tony Robbins, how did he open his presentation? Focus. It's the number one thing, focus. And so what are you focused on will determine where your life is heading. And we got to get clear on what we want. Like what do you want this to look like? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want it to be? It's a choice. You get to choose. It's perspective, right? You can choose to look at it as a problem, or you can look at where's the opportunity. What do you want it to look like? It's a life by design, right? It's a creative world. What do you want it to be? All right. It's the beauty of working at home. 2 seconds here. Never a dull moment. I love it. All right, so let me get back to this because I want to really take you guys through this exercise in the time that we have. So here it is. It's E plus I equals L. So E is the experience, right? We do not crave things. We crave the experience things give us. It's creating magical moments. It's manufacturing the experience you want to have. And what is the identity, right? What's your experience, what you believe, how you behave with your values, create that identity. And knowing that our experiences and identity work together to form our life. And, we all live two separate identities, right? The first one is the current identity. It's who you are right now. The other is core, right? This identity holds your greatest desires, hopes, dreams, right? It's the deep, meaningful experiences you want out of life, right? When we buy a new home, it's not the physical that it'll bring. It's the experience and what it is that you're able to have. And so this is really how to create that life. And, there's an expiration on all of us. And, it's just something that, we understand is happening, but you have a choice. There's a great exercise that I love to take rooms of people through. And it's the tape measure exercise. And the tape measure exercise, if you look on a ruler on the metric side, it goes from 0 to 100. And the exercise then is, you go to whatever age you're at right now and you rip that off, right? So for me, I would rip off at 44. And then from 0 to 44, I can just throw that shit away, right? I mean, that's got me to who I am today. But, it's the whole thing, right? It's why the rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield in front of us. And then you go to the next thing. So for me, it'd be 44. The average life expectancy in the US for us guys, I think is 78 or 79. For you ladies, it's a little bit longer now. I think it's 80, 81, somewhere in there. So I always have them rip that off, right? So I always have, the ladies rip it off at 80 and the guys rip it off at 79. And I would say, save that. That's borrowed time, right? If you get to that point and you keep going, that's borrowed time. Good for you. But what I want you to focus on for me would be the 44 to 79. And it puts things into perspective, like, holy shit, right? I've lived half of my life. And am I where I want to be? Where am I trying to get to? And so, it really is really powerful exercise that puts things into perspective. So here's how we're going to script your perfect average day. You got to answer these questions. If there were no limitations or consequences, what would your perfect average day look like? So limitations means you don't have to worry about money, health, location, or people, right? Consequences means it has to be something safe. You can't get in trouble for it, get arrested, or die. So limitations and consequences. And then average means you can do it every day and not get killed, right? So like you can't be scaling Everest, every day. So that's kind of the guidelines of being able to answer and sculpt this question in this day. These are all based on experiences, not goals or things, right? Our experience helps shape our identity. That's step one, crafting your perfect day. The perfect day will help you identify who you really are and what your core identity is. When you go through this, I had 17 pages the first time I did this, because what I want you to think about is the moment you wake up, all senses fire. How do you feel? Is it cool? Is it warm? Do you have a blanket over you? What type of blanket is it? Are you laying next to somebody? What do you smell? What do you hear? What's the first thought that comes to your mind? To the second your feet hit the floor, is it carpet? Is it tile? Is it hardwood? When you look out the window, do you see the ocean? Do you see the forest? Do you see the lake? Do you see snow? Like what is it that you see? And you have to go throughout the day. Are you working? If you're working, who are you working with? Are you having lunch? Are you having lunch with people? Are you having lunch with friends? What are you talking about? Are you fixing dinner, or are you eating out? What are you doing for activity? What is your evening conversation? How does your day end? What is the last thought you have as you fall asleep? That's how detailed you have to get in crafting your perfect day. Because see, what happens is that now it's almost becoming like a vision board, because now we're starting to become aware. We're creating awareness in what we want our day and our life to be like. So when you create an awareness of how you would love to have lunch, and who you would love to have lunch with, and what you would love to talk about, you're going to start catching yourself when you're eating lunch with somebody and you're like, dude, I wouldn't eat lunch with you on my perfect day. And like, this is the dumbest shit ever. I would not be talking about this on my perfect day. Then you have a choice. Then you can start making the changes that's moving you closer to your perfect day. You stop having lunch with those people. You stop talking about those things. Who are you going to work with? Who's your ideal client? If you work, who is your ideal client? You start looking at, okay, if I have to live this day every day and I'm working 4 hours, like these are the people that I really want to work with. That helps you identify your ideal client, right? And so you start to see all of these things, and now it allows you to start making changes. You have a choice. Once you have awareness, you have a choice. You can choose to do nothing about it, or you can choose to make the change. Then you can make that decision and move forward. It's really, really powerful. Go into as much detail as possible, right? This really helps ultimately pull from you who you are at your core. This is your core identity. This is really who you are at your core, what you value, what you stand for, who the person that you're trying and wanting to become. And like I said, it works so much more powerful when you're able to take this and put it into a vision board, right? We have to see it with our eyes, or we have to see it in the eye of our mind. It creates, it's no different than, hey, I'm thinking about buying this, brand new black Escalade. Guess what happens? You start seeing brand new black Escalades everywhere. And so you have to create this vision that you have for your life. What is the perfect day? Put it into a vision board. Have a mind movie with affirmations and accompanying pictures that play like a movie. You're seeing it over and over and over in your mind. When you start upgrading those beliefs that you have, right? Beliefs are just a collection of our thoughts. So I've created a circumstance, I've created an environment that I know where I'm trying to move to, and I'm thinking about it, and that's forming my beliefs, which change the way I feel, which allows to change my habits and my behavior, which now starts getting me the results that I want. Okay. So that's the growth. But this is guys, this is such a powerful exercise. And exercise means you keep doing it over and over, right? You go through and you experience things, and you're like, that's not that I wouldn't, I thought I would do that on my perfect day. No, I won't. Oh, I thought that was my perfect client. No, it's not. So it's always upgrading. And it continues to upgrade the more that we can level our thinking and remove the constraints in our thinking, allows for our beliefs to form, and allows for us to have much better habits, beliefs and habits. All right, cool. So fantastic exercise. Love going through that process, and love being able to share that. My movies. I have that app with my mind movie is awesome. That's great. That's awesome. Any other questions or thoughts that you guys have? I always cherish the opportunity to jump in and share with all of you. I know Expert Mentors is really about tapping into the horsepower that we have inside of the Honey Badger Nation with some of the best agents on the planet. And, when little things, we have to be flexible, and I'm able to hop in myself. It's such an honor to be able to try to add as much value to you as I can. And, the things that I shared, if you will embrace those, and utilize those tools and those concepts, It will change your life. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Awesome. Cool. Well, appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are having an incredible week. If you need anything, we are here for you, and cannot wait to see you guys on the next episode of Expert Mentors Live. See you guys.